let me ask you something. Do you actually know how much money you should have saved by now? Like by your age, whatever it is. Do you know where you stand? Because if you are like most people, you're either wondering if you're way behind or thinking you're doing okay, but not totally sure. Well, brace yourself, because today we're going to break down exactly how much money Americans really should have saved at different ages and compare that to how much experts say you should have saved. And I've got to warn you, the gap between those two numbers, it's bigger than most people expect. But this isn't about shaming anyone. This is simply about knowing where you stand. Because once you know where you are, you can make a plan to get where you want to be. Stick around to the end because I'm going to walk you through the real stats, age by age. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a simple framework to help you actually catch up if that's where you're at. So let's get into it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Blake Galloway, owner of the Bravo Ridge Group and Shieldline Financial, where we help people every day reach their goals, whether that's buying their next home or hitting $1 million net worth. Let's start this video off with the age where it feels the hardest. Age 20 to 29. What you have versus what you should have. This is the decade when people are just getting started. You're probably finishing school, landing at that first real job, maybe renting your first place, and trying not to panic every time rent is due. So how much does the average 20-something actually have saved? Well, according to the Federal Research Survey of Consumer Finance, the average savings for Americans under 35 is just $20,540. That's not retirement savings. That's total liquid savings across bank accounts, emergency funds, the whole thing. But if we look at financial experts like Fidelity or NerdWallet, they generally recommend that by age 30, you should have at least 1 year's salary saved. According to Ally Bank, in your 20s, you should earn $36,000 to $54,000 a year, a pretty common entry-level income. But that means by age 30, you should have around that saved. Compare that to the actual average of $22,540, and you can easily see that gap starting to form. But here's the thing. If you are in your 20s and you feel like you're behind, you're not alone. And more importantly, you still have plenty of time to build strong habits that will put you way ahead later on. If there's one move that makes a massive difference in your 20s, it's this. Get in the habit of paying yourself first. Whether that's 10%, 15%, or even just $50 a paycheck. Make it automatic. The earlier you start, the more time you give your money to grow. And we'll talk more about those habits later on. But before we cover what happens in your 30s, I ask that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We cover everything personal finance and how to help you make the best decisions possible to help you achieve your goals. Now let's cover age 30 to 39, what you have versus what you should have. All right, now we're stepping into your 30s. This is where a lot of people start to feel they should have it all together. Maybe a house, maybe a kid or two, or at least a solid career path. But money, that still feels kind of chaotic for many people. So let's look at the numbers. According to the Federal Research Survey, the average savings for people ages 35 to 44 is about $41,540. Now that's not terrible, but it's still well below most expert benchmarks. If we follow Fidelity's recommendation again, by the time you hit age 40, you should have 3 times your annual salary saved. And if you're making $60,000 a year, the target is $180,000. Now, obviously that number can feel intimidating, especially if you're juggling student loans, car payments, daycare costs. Life gets expensive really fast in your 30s. But here's the real takeaway. This decade is where consistency matters more than intensity. Even if you're not maxing out your retirement accounts or hitting giant savings targets, just sticking to a system like the 50-30-20 rule or the 70-20-10 rule builds momentum. It's also a good time to make sure your money has a job. That means less sitting in the checking account and more going towards a purpose, whether that's an emergency fund, a Roth IRA, a down payment fund, or investments that compound over time. All right, let's keep this going and talk about what happens when you hit your 40s. Age 40 to 49, building or catching up. Now we're in the 40s, and this is where people tend to split into 2 camps. Either you've been saving steadily and you're building real momentum, or you're feeling behind and wondering if it's too late to catch up. Well, let's look at the numbers again. According to NCH stats, the average savings for people age 45 to 54 is around $71,130. That's a bump up from the 30s. But again, that's not close to where financial advisors say you should be. Fidelity recommends having 6 times your annual salary saved by age 50. So again, using that $60,000 salary benchmark, the ideal number would be $360,000. Yeah, big gap. But here's the good news. Your 40s can actually be one of the most powerful decades for your wealth building. You may be hitting your peak earning years. Your kids might be getting more independent. And hopefully you've learned a few financial missteps in your 20s and 30s. If you feel like you're behind, this is the decade to go all in on intentionality. Cut out lifestyle creep. Increase your savings rate even between 5 and 10%, and make sure you're getting your money to work for you, whether that's in a 401k, a Roth IRA, HSA, or an index fund that compounds quietly in the background. It's not too late, but this is the time to act with purpose. Age 50 to 59, crunch time for retirement planning. By the time you hit your 50s, things start to feel more real. Retirement is no longer some vague idea in the distance. It's something you can see on the horizon. But here's the kicker. Most Americans in this age group are nowhere near where they need to be. According to NCH stats, the average savings for Americans aged between 55 and 64 is about $72,520. Think about that. If you retire at 65, that's not even 2 years of living expenses for most people. Fidelity's benchmark suggests having 7 to 8 times your annual salary saved by age 60. So with that $60,000 salary example, you'd ideally want $420,000 to $480,000 saved by now. But clearly, based on the actual averages, a huge chunk of the population is falling short. So what do you do in your 50s if you're behind? Number 1, max out your catch-up contributions. The IRS allows people 50 and over to put extra into retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs. Take advantage of that. Number 2, reduce debt as aggressively as possible. The less you owe, the less income you'll need in retirement. Number 3, delay retirement if you can. Even working a few extra years can have a giant impact. More time to save, fewer years to draw your assets. Number 4, reassess your lifestyle expectations. It's not defeat, it's being strategic. This decade is all about being proactive. Every year matters more now than ever before, and the decisions you make in your 50s will define how free and flexible your retirement years will be. Now let's get into the 60s, the home stretch. Age 60, the retirement reality check. All right, we've made it to the final stage, age 60 and beyond. This is where the rubber meets the road. Retirement is here or right around the corner. So where do most Americans stand? According to NCH stats, the average retirement savings for Americans 65 and older is just over $100,250. Let that sink in. Just $100,000. For most, that amount would barely last 2 to 3 years in retirement. And yet, many experts suggest that by age 67, you should aim to have at least 10 times your annual salary saved. So by using the ongoing example of $60,000, that means you should have over $600,000 saved. The truth is, most people aren't even close. But the goal of this video isn't to shame or discourage anyone. It's to inform, empower, and help you get clarity on your next financial path, no matter what stage you're in. So if you're in your 60s or already retired, here are a few things to focus on. Number 1, maximize Social Security. Waiting until full retirement age or even age 70 can significantly increase your monthly benefits. Number 2, downsize if needed. Lowering your housing costs can free up a big chunk of income. Number 3, prioritize healthcare planning. Medical costs can be one of the biggest expenses in retirement, so make sure you have accounted for it. And number 4, make your money last. Consider speaking with a fiduciary financial planner to discuss safe withdrawal strategies from your savings and investments. Remember, it's never too late to improve your situation. Now, before we wrap this up, let's pull everything together with a quick recap and most importantly, show you how to start increasing your savings rate starting today. So let's quickly recap what we've covered. In your 20s, it's all about building habits. You're not behind, you're building the foundation. In your 30s, life gets expensive, but it's also when you need to double down and stay consistent. In your 40s, you're ideally halfway to retirement goals. Time to optimize and avoid lifestyle creep. In your 50s, catch-up mode is real, but still totally possible with focused effort. And in your 60s, it's about making smart decisions to protect what you've built and extend your financial runway. Now, maybe you're listening to this and thinking, I'm behind. Or maybe you're just starting out and don't know what to make the same mistakes that you've seen others make. But here's the truth. It's never too late and it's never too early. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to start and keep moving forward. So if you wondered how to increase your savings rate, here are 5 steps that you can actually use today. Number 1, track your spending. Use a simple spreadsheet or apps like Monarch Money, Copilot, Origin, Every Dollar, Simple Budget. There's a ton of them out there. The best tool is the one you stick to. Number 2, automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers to your high yield savings accounts or Roth IRA. You won't miss what you don't see. Number 3, cut hidden expenses. Subscriptions, delivery fees, unused memberships, trim the fat. Number 4, boost your income. Take on freelance work, sell unused stuff, or negotiate your salary. Small increases add up fast. Number 5, pick a budgeting rule. Try 50-30-20 or 65-20-15. Customize it based on your lifestyle. The key is being intentional. And if you're serious about building wealth over time, I'd recommend checking out my video on budgeting methods next. I'll show you exactly how to structure your money in a way that helps you save more, spend with purpose, and build real momentum. We talk a lot about financial freedom, But that freedom starts with you saving money. It starts with your very next financial decision. So don't worry about what you didn't do yesterday. Focus on what you can do today. I hope this video cleared some things up for you and maybe even gave you a little motivation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.